And it says that it is live and it's showtime. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this. Today's topic is a recap or review of 2022 and some projections for 2023. I was inspired to do this episode precisely because I've had many conversations and they have been very interesting around the topic of the economy, how the economy has had an impact on our businesses, and what can we anticipate moving forward as far as the economy and growing our respective practices. So I want to start off by saying, regardless of what the economy looks like at any given time in history, there are always those who are always thriving, and there are always those who are actually always struggling. And as you join me on this live, I would love for you to give me your name. Again, I want to give the disclaimer, I am not really good with technology, so just showing up and doing this is hard enough for me. So if you're watching, please let me know your name in the comments because I got a reminder. No one can, I only see the eyes. I don't see who's actually joining me. And you can let me know in the comments where you are watching from, what's your name, and if everything it's okay on your end as far as hearing me. So if you can do that for me by writing it on the comments, I will appreciate that. Again, today's topic that I want to focus on this episode is how to look at the economy in a way that it's not that it's an opportunity versus a limitation for us to grow our businesses. The reason why is because, as I stated a few moments ago, regardless of what we've seen in history as far as the economy, there are always individuals and companies that thrive and always those that suffer. And so the question becomes, how is my relationship with the economy and what action steps am I taking during the times as they're changing? And it's always going to be changing. Am I looking at the economy as an opportunity? Am I looking at it as a limitation for my own development or my collective development as an organization? And so we're going to explore a little bit of that. My objective for today's episode is to share with you what some of the experts, based on research that I've done, are saying about the current economy and the climate that we're experiencing right now with the inflation and all of that. So I want to share that with you today. And I also want to discuss with you how to use these economic changes within your business, what you're experiencing right now potentially as it pertains to the economy, and it's affecting the way that your insurance participation is going to be strategically done within your practice, whether or not you're having trouble finding good quality people in this climate, and how to retain them and how to get them up to speed. So, all of those things I want to talk about. Again, I want to do a revision of what I've seen throughout this 2022 with all of the changes in the economy, what has worked for some of my clients, what it's not working, and how you can take action steps to make sure that you plan ahead. So, the first section I want to focus on is going to be on what I've seen and what are some of the things that you can do. And then talk a little bit about projections and things that I'm reading about that could potentially come and affect your business in 2023. And again, the idea is that you walk away with tools and strategies to help you save money or make more money and be able to build profitable and fulfilling practices. So let's dive in and talk about the very first topic or question in everyone's mind. What is the current economy like and inflation, and how does that affect my practice? And how can I make it better for myself and for my business, right? So I was watching recently a webinar at the end of the year. One of the things that I practice and that I do all the time is doing a review of everything that I've done for the year, and do research about, like, hearing from experts. So I sign up and I watch this really interesting webinar from Moody's. Moody's is the company that oversees a lot of the kind of like trends in the economy. And one of the speakers was actually talking about the inflation and what's causing the inflation, and are we in a recession, are we not in a recession? And based on what the experts on the panel were discussing on this webinar, they said that the inflation is primarily the cause of the real estate boom, or the inflation comes from there, and the economy is struggling with that we're no longer in the stage of pandemic. Like post pandemic, yes, we were going to go through a process of the economy having a crisis and so on and so forth, but it's no longer the case based on their analysis of the economy, that it's no longer pertaining to the COVID situation, the pandemic. It has to do with the real estate and the energy prices due to the war in Ukraine. So are we in any recession? According to them, we're not. But then again, there are certain things that are happening in our businesses right now that are showing us otherwise, because we're having trouble retaining patients when it comes to pricing for services that they need, but they potentially don't think that they can afford to have. So we'll explore a little bit about that. And we're also finding it difficult to find people, and the salaries are just off the roof, right? Like we're going through some recruiting for some of our clients as we speak, and it's very challenging. So for reference, for those of you who don't know who I am and what I do, I have been working in the dental field since 1998, and I've worn every hat in a dental office. I'm not going to give you the whole Siobhan, but for the last, I want to say 5 years, after I helped one individual open 15 dental startups during an economic past the market crash of 2008, I've been able to help a lot of new dentists, first-time practice owners, launch and operate their offices successfully. And as every business, we share 99% of our DNA. It's similar. It's just what you do on the day-to-day basis that slightly changes from one company to the other. And so as of this year in 2022, here are some of the things that I've noticed that are changing and that will be affecting your practice. The first one has to do with insurance reimbursement. The inflation has made it, and post-pandemic has made it so that a lot of the carriers and insurance companies, because they are businesses that we need to do business with as small companies, but they hold a lot of resources and a lot of, I should say, money to be able to constantly stay above and beyond and be innovative in their way of conducting business. So we, on the receiving end, or as the middle person between all of these patients that are purchasing policies, whether through their employers or individual policies, we are stuck with having poor reimbursement and really difficult coordination of benefits with with them dictating what the patients can or cannot get as far as services and treatment in our businesses, in our practices. So some of the changes and things that I've seen in 2022 that I want you to be on the lookout for and start to plan ahead for 2023 is the following. Most insurance carriers have gone back to the most, I'm sorry, I'll take that back. Employers have gone back and renegotiated their reimbursements or their premiums for the group policies that they're purchasing from the employers. What that translates to is you may have within the proximity of your practice an employer that had a certain policy or group policy, and now that has changed. They have downgraded their premium, and as a result, the carrier, it could be Cigna or it could be any particular insurance, has modified either the benefits or they have actually ranked them into a lower tier fee schedule. So how is this affecting your office, and what can you do in this piece? And I'll talk a little bit more about the workforce in just a second. What I've seen some of my clients experience, and what I am noticing as we do insurance negotiation for our clients, the insurances have separated their tiers, so they're no longer just having one fee schedule that fits all patients. So if you have an office where the higher the fee schedule that you negotiate in your office, the less membership access you're going to gain as a result. So the biggest example for me to share with you this year has to do with Cigna. Cigna had one fee schedule. It was inclusive of all their employers. And because employers are renegotiating their premiums for their employees, now they have created separate tiers. So what I am currently encouraging every dental office that I work for, or that I have access to, and I want you to learn from as well, is to learn to divide and conquer. I've made several videos in the past about this because it has already happened with Delta Dental during the market crash of 2008. They had like the premium and PPO tiers combined. Now they've made that shift, and 99% of the policies that are sold from Delta Dental are PPO policies, right? So I always say, what's the glory of being a premier provider if you got 99% of the patients in your area are going to be PPO, and they don't have the disposable income to come up out of pocket for that difference in reimbursement, because it is the patient that ultimately picks up the tab. And so you, again, not to say that I'm insurance driven, you have to have strategies in place in order for you to make that work for you, whatever decisions you make. Remember what I said at the beginning, it is not the economy and the changes and where you decide to open your practice. It's the strategy and the approach that you have as you're doing so. And so as far as insurance is concerned for 2022, the changes that I've seen have mostly to do with the carriers separating their tiers, making it where if you have a higher fee schedule, it is now the employer that determines if your office would be considered in network given the threshold of the fees that they've set for that employer to be considered as in network. So your office could be participating with Cigna, and you may have an employer that you are considered in the network with Cigna, and you may have another employer that has renegotiated their premiums with for their group policies, and then suddenly you call and you're not in the network. I've seen this happen with offices that had established patients, and these and their employers have actually gone back to the insurances and decided, hey, I need to lower my my premiums. I'm making cuts in my budget. So all of the major companies are looking for a way to cut down on costs, and this is one of the ways in which they do it, and they have a direct impact in your office, in your business. So the way that you're going to handle this is by, number one, you're going to learn and divide and conquer. Get really familiar with the people in the area, right? Like your employers. If you are already an existing practice, I want you to get very familiar with your highest utilized companies in your particular office. You have this data, and your team would probably, it is likely capturing this information. So find out who your top employers are, and be able to differentiate and understand that not everyone falls into that bucket. If you are a dentist contemplating practice ownership as a first time owner, then I would suggest that you do very thorough market research. And I'm talking about the top employers, competitive cross, examination, what other offices are doing, how aggressive are they with the insurances or not. I'm working on releasing a video for our YouTube channel that has to do with our process for helping our clients select a very good location and create a roadmap or blueprint around the selected site. And I share kind of like all the steps that we follow when we're running demographic reports for a specific area, and based on different zip codes, and what are some of the things that we look at. So be on the lookout for that video. I think it's going to be very interesting for some of you contemplating practice owners to look at. I had a call recently with a dentist, and she basically said to me, I want to start my own practice, but I feel that I'm getting mixed information. I have colleagues that are telling me the economy is horrible, don't do it yet. And I have a mentor who told me in 2008 there were a lot of, there was an economic really downfall, and there were a lot of companies that were able to make it. It's just a strategy that you incorporate based on the current climate with the economy that is going to make the difference between you being a surviving or struggling business owner versus a winning or a thriving practice owner. So going back to the changes or to the review for 2022, as far as insurance, that is one of the biggest pieces. And one of the things that I'm encouraging dentists to do is, number one, divide and conquer. Number two, make sure that they're positioning their fees and understanding the different options for the contracts and the employers in the area to be able to facilitate that. But not only that, then once you have the patient in the office, you want to make sure that or you want to ensure that the patients are getting the treatment that they need. And so that means you have to create a culture where insurance is secondary to care, and you have to be creative with the financing options that you're going to have readily available for your patients, because they may or may not have the disposable income. But if you come to them and you persuade them into getting the treatment, and it is in their best interest, and you facilitate the financing for them to make sure that they do receive those services, it's a win-win for the patient and is a win-win for the practice as well. So as far as review on insurances, what I've noticed is a lot of dental offices do not know how to create that difference, how to build a practice where insurance is secondary to care and be more inclined into offering better financial options for the patients. So I want everyone watching or listening to this to make those changes and be mindful of that. So create systems for case presentations once you have the patients within your radar, and have an understanding of the financial situation that they're in. And there are so many creative financial tools and companies out there to help navigate through this, because again, a lot of people are opting to save money because everyone is talking about this boogeyman and the economy, and we're in a recession. And a lot of companies make money during this economic challenges or uncertainty by doing this fear-based marketing or propaganda where everyone is afraid. I was watching a report about how during this time, most people are actually like Walmart and Five Below and a lot of like smaller like Dollar Tree companies are reporting sales to more affluent people. So people with higher income are opting to buy from these saving stores, discount stores. Why? Because everyone is trying to hold on to their money in anticipation that the economy is going to only get worse, and there's this kind of like political turmoil that is going on, and they want to fear mongering into getting you not to take action based on what is in their best interest. If they want to sell based on getting you afraid of taking action, that's the way that they're going to do it. I'm telling you, based on my personal experience and observation, no matter what the economy looks like, if you have a gaming plan, a game in place, you're going to be able to make the situation work for you and treat it as an opportunity rather than a limitation. So, again, those are some of the trends and things that I've noticed and the action steps that I want you to take before the end of the year to ensure that you are actually going to be positioned in your office for success in 2023. Um, as far as now changes and projections for 2023, again, going back to the economy, everyone is saying we're going to hit a recession. It may not be the best time for us to make certain moves. I want you to be strategic and do your due diligence and cut out through the noise, because a lot of companies and places are just telling you what they want you to hear, not necessarily what's out there. Based on the Moody's webinar that I attended, yes, the inflation is going to go back, the interest rates are going to go higher. So just make sure you're not getting into debt. And then as far as employment is concerned, for 2022, we've seen a lot of difficult times getting good qualified people into dental offices. So what I would recommend that you do, starting right away, is becoming creative and having systems in place for training people that perhaps are coming from a different industry and have the flexibility of training them within the practice. If you're a startup, then that's great. Otherwise, if you are an existing practice owner and you understand that you have to get someone with experience, have a very solid onboarding process and milestones for the employee to be able to ensure that they're coming in and they're meeting certain targets within the practice. So setting those goals and making sure that they are a participant and that they have a cut of the pie with you is extremely important. Everyone that is going to work for you wants to know what's in it for them. As a first time practice owner, when you're coming in and you are competing with the DSOs, and I have a whole video on that that you can go back and watch, but it has to do with your leadership skills and be able to get them to buy in moral into your vision if they're coming in with no or little experience and you are just getting started and you want to save at the beginning to make sure that they grow with you. If you're hiring someone with a lot of experience and it's costing you a lot up front to get this person in to take advantage of them, then it is in your responsibility to take charge and have the systems in place, the expectations clearly laid out so that there are no surprises. And so that when they come in, they know exactly how many patients you need to see on the month to month basis. This is the marketing budget. These are our promotional items. These are the locations that I have done research on prior to hiring you so that you can help me nurture and build a relationship with them and create this reciprocal relationship with certain potential referring partners in the area to keep them busy and give them the milestones of where they're going to be in 3 months and based on how the office is doing. This is the approach that I've taken with a lot of my clients as startups. And within 3 to 4 months, they're able to convert into full time. They're either adding second dental assistant, second front desks, but it comes from your ability to plan ahead and be able to execute on that as well. So those are the trends that I see that are most struggling for 2022, dealing with insurances, patients not being able to afford or have the disposable income and becoming creative to make sure that they are getting the treatment that they need despite their insurance coverage, and retaining good qualifying people and strategies around that. So we do have a program that we help you train your front desk. If you need help as a startup and you don't know where to start, please reach out to me. You can schedule a discovery call and I'll be happy to have a free strategy call with you to help create that roadmap for you. As far as trends for 2023, I did an article, a blog on my website about the trends and the things that are going to be happening in 2023. So things that you're going to start noticing is a lot of things that had to do with technology. AI is something that is going to come in that has been around for ages, but it's likely going to take off even more. I had a company reach out to me recently to work with us that they're expected to be the first tele-dentistry DSO. And I was invited to be participating in a project with them where they are using a lot of AI and they're using a lot of technology to be able to do treatment on site for for patients. So it's the DSOs and these companies that have the resources again are really becoming partnering up and being innovative and coming up with technology that is going to really disrupt and make it more challenging for us small business owners to continue on our journey to grow. So be on the lookout for the artificial intelligence and how you can utilize it in your office to improve your patient experience. And also laser technology is another thing. A lot of people are going to be more inclined into natural dental products. So if you're able to, you're in an area that facilitates you being able to have products to sell and promote for your patients, be on the lookout for that and try to incorporate that. All of the things as far as insurance is concerned, you can anticipate that they are going to continue to make these changes where the patient policies are going to be always having changes over time. So be always aware of not treating the patients that come from an insurance company and stay up to date. Invest on your team on their ongoing training as it comes with insurance companies, as it comes with customer care, case presentations, with the patient experience, and have tools and things available within the office to make sure that you're staying ahead of the curve. As I said earlier, it is not about the economy, it's about how prepared we are to navigate the changes in the economy. And I want to empower all of my clients and everyone that is part of my network now to really look at the economy as an opportunity for you to plan and create a plan that is sustainable for you to make things work for you and your families and your communities. And also to be able to create longevity in the workforce, because one of our responsibilities as business owners is to make sure that our teams are able to stay with us long term, because it costs a lot of money to have constant turnover in our businesses, and that's a large responsibility. So to recap on the ideas for your office in 2023, invest on developing the skills to get patients to say yes more to treatment. Track all of the trends and things that you've been doing within the office to make sure that when you're generating reports that are that offer you information to make informed decisions for the practice. So track down where the sources of referrals from your practice, where you're investing your money in terms of marketing, how your team has evolved and grown over the course of the year. Who are the top employers in your area, and who are your top competitors? Make sure you know how they're answering the phones, how much they charge for a crown, all of the things that they need to do in order for you to create a competitive edge, right? And so, because the insurances will continue to innovate and make changes that will immediately affect your business. And if you're only thinking that is a one done deal, you set up your insurance as one and you're done with it, that's not the case. As we speak, they're making changes that will affect how you're doing business in January, and we don't even know about it yet. So it's important for you to be on the lookout for that. Now, for those of you who are watching or listening, and again, you have an established practice, I want to be able to share with you some free resources and tools to help you get better in 2023. So I did a webinar or a live workshop where I developed this workbook, and not a workbook, worksheet, that is best practices for renegotiating your fees with insurance companies. If you want to get a copy of that worksheet and our tools for doing so, our strategy for you to renegotiate your fees, the list of the top TPAs or umbrella companies, the plans that fall under it, and then help you create that map for your business, I want to be able to share that free download for you. So just let me know in the comments, hey, I'm an existing practice, and then I will know to send you that free PDF. If you are a dentist and you're looking into potentially getting into your first dental office in 2023, and you're just doing your due diligence, schedule a discovery call with me, a free strategy session, so that I can see where you're opening, help you put together. And I'm happy to share with you our startup launch tools. In that startup launch tool, I have a checklist for everything that needs to happen that you need to do as a dental startup, all of the top employers in the country and what insurance is offered to them. I have their OSHA compliance checklists. I have a lot of best practices for insurance participation, hiring your staff, and I think that what else do I have there? I have so many free resources. I want to make sure that I get you access to those. So if you are a dental startup, write in the comments dental startup, and I will make sure that I have someone get that toolbox startup toolkit to you. And if you're in the middle, you, let's say, are a new startup, right? Recently opened, let me know in the comments and just recently opened, and I will be able to share with you a PDF with my best practices for end of year reports that you want to be always looking at, and like your yearly checklists, so that I can get that out to you as well. My goal is to empower first time business owners just like me. I'm just like on the other side, to build really fulfilling and profitable dental practices. I do this because I feel that dentistry has given me a lot, and I want to give back to the dental community. Every time I have a mom or a husband that reaches out to me and they're saying this is the first time I'm opening an office, I don't know what to do. And it seems like everyone wants to just go for my money or put pressure on me to start ordering and doing things. And I want to take my time and do it right. Those are my people, the people that cut through the noise, the doctors that understand that they're doing this for their families and their communities, and and they're really serious about their growth. So if that is you, please let me know, and I am happy to continue to show up every week and share some of the things that I'm learning, so that I can help you get to the next level in your business as well. Thank you so much for now. Just next week, I will probably do a live. MDent will be closed for the holidays, but I will want to do a live to share with you my a couple of end of year personal tips and things that I do to be able to inspire and motivate some of you to plan for your 2023 and make sure it's your best year yet. Alrighty. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we will stay in touch. Bye bye.